Hey everyone, this is PZSniXSniPe here, and today I'm going to be going over a game between myself and a Protoss player. This game was on ladder on the North American server, and to sum it up, basically, it's just going to be a relatively standard game. I'm going to be going into a 1-rack expand build, while my opponent, I believe he expands using a 1-gate expand. And I'm going to basically talk about my build as the game progresses. First things first, I'm going to start off a wall. Now, you necessarily don't have to always wall off in most matchups. This is just precautionary methods for, like, maybe some circumstances you'll get proxy gated. Like, that is extremely rare. Then in other cases you can get 4-gate and they can just run right up your ramp if you have no wall off at all. Because in cases like that, they'll have a lot of units, and more than likely you won't have much at all if you expand. So this is mostly just like for precautionary methods against cheese and such. So basically, you're going to get your depot at 10, your racks at 12, which is very, very, very standard for like almost every build except for refineries first. And then with the same SCV, I'm going to be playing slightly more greedy, but to the sense that it's still not dangerous. I'm going to use the same SCV that builds the barracks to build the depot. If you want, you can send the SCP to build the depot before the probe gets here, or when you see the probe coming, like maybe he's over here in your vision. You just have to be really aware. And going off of what this map is on the NA or BattleNet in general, you can spawn on any other positions of the map. So it's not like MLG Antigua where you can only spawn across from one another. So in that case, you definitely want to wall off because getting proxy gated is possible. Yes, you can hold it off, but I mean, unless you scout, that's mostly if you scout it. So, and most terran players honestly scout rather, or in most cases, if they want to actually spend, they scout late. So I kind of messed up right here when this SV went over here. He's supposed to go directly to this direction, but I think I was too busy trying to kill the probe with my marine. And then after I start my command center, I always send the SCV out to scout. So once I find his base, like, see the problem. Okay, the one thing about scouting late like this is that he can get, like, if I scout the wrong positions, like the first 2 positions incorrectly, then he can have a stalker that can snipe my SCV really soon. So this is one of the bigger drawbacks and why I probably shouldn't have done this in the first place. But it's just me being greedy, cutting corners. Instead of just trying to outplay my opponent. Like, these are small differences. Like, instead of sending SCV out at like 14 supply or something, I'm sending him at 19. So with that one SCV, I've perhaps harvested like 50 or 60 more minerals. But the drawback is he's gonna have a stalker. Now, unless my SCV runs directly into the stalker, or he goes around it somehow, then it'll be okay. But if I lose my SCV, which looks like it's gonna happen because my SCV is going the wrong way, then that means I'm probably going to have to send a late scout, or I'm going to have to scan, or I'm just going to have to do a blind build. And if you do, see, I'm scouting wrong, so I'm definitely not going to see his base until like 5:30. So I don't know. What if he's 3-gate starting me? What if he's going for a Nexus DT expand? What if he's 4-gating me? 4-gate would hit at 5:40 and I don't even have a bunker. This is another thing that I'm doing. So as you can see, I've made 2 mistakes already. Let me pause real quick just to talk about it. The first mistake is my really late scouting in this case, because I had no idea what my opponent is doing. Right now I don't even know where he's at, and for some reason I scouted across. I think it's because maybe I saw his probe and I thought it came from this direction or something. I don't know. Bad judgment though. I should have scouted up here. But in cases like this, the reason why I didn't build a bunker is because I'm being really greedy and I'm making a pretty, I'd say, a pretty big error in judgment. If he had sent a Xenon Stalker out sooner, he probably could have killed at least 2 Marines, and I would have been able to take his Zealot out. The reason why I didn't build a bunker, though, is because on this map, he's not going to have vision when he comes up here, so I'm going to probably be able to snipe his Zealot, maybe his Stalker if he's careless. But on the other hand, if I'm careless, like not paying attention at all, he can kill probably all my Marines if I'm just, like, not looking there. So I would say you don't want to put your Marines up here without a bunker, unless you're very confident in your awareness, like you're multitasking back and forth from your base, your expansion, your Marines, you're paying attention to all the small details. So usually, if you do build a bunker, usually you want to build your bunker like I usually rally point my building SCV, my SCV is building out my main orbital when my third command center is being, my third marine's being built. So that'll give you plenty of time to get your bunker up by the time they send their Zealot Stalker. Now, this Zealot Stalker is reaching my base pretty late. In most games, they would arrive like, I don't know the exact timing, but probably about at least 40 seconds faster, I'd say. And at that time, I wouldn't have 5 marines. I'd probably have 4. So a good rule of thumb to practice is basically like split your marines a little bit further. And I like to keep my marines on hold position. You can see I already have them on hold position. That way they don't chase after the stalker if I'm not paying attention, like looking over here, and his stalker kites my marines perfectly getting free shots. Because then that would mean my marines taking more damage without dealing much at all to his stalker. Because as they move down the ramp, he's gonna have vision of them. You can clearly see that when if he is right here, or with the Zealot if he uses that, or the probe. But let's go ahead and watch what happens. So in this case, like I said, he attacks pretty late. So he's not going to be able to do much at all. In fact, he doesn't even kill a single marine. And I am throwing up my bunker because I still have not a single clue what he's doing. And he can't see my tech lab or my barracks, so he's not entirely sure what I'm doing. For all he knows, I could still be going a cloaked Banshee or a 2-base marine tank timing attack. Or he's probably going to... Since it's me, I don't know if he's ever played me before, or he's probably... He might just assume I'm just doing a 1 reaction spam. And also for this build, after I get my 2 barracks up after my first, I always get my 2 barracks before my 2 double refineries. After that, after I get my 2 refineries, I'll get a tech lab and get stim pack. And I just produce pure marines for the first bit of time because I need my gas. I'm going to throw up my tech lab and reactor after I start my factory. After I start my factory, I'll take my 3rd gas. But in this case, it's really late. Or no, not after my factory, I'm sorry. After I take my factory, I'll take my tech lab, then reactor, then I'll take my 3rd gas. If you want to get your engineering bay earlier to get your +1 started faster, like my engineering bay was pretty late. Or no, it wasn't late, but the upgrade's gonna be late. It's kind of, you should probably definitely get your refinery after your factory. Otherwise, that way you can also get Marauder production started. Because right now you're just pretty much saving up all your gas for more marines. I mean, not marines, but upgrades. So the good thing though is that even though my engineering bay is late, my timing attack's gonna hit at about 10 minutes with my double medivacs, or at least the medivacs should be done by that time. And then the upgrades take about 180 seconds, which is like 3 minutes. Oh, it's 190 seconds for. Yeah, it's 160 seconds. Sorry, that's +2. So by the time the 10 minutes hit, I'll have +1 weapons finishing at about the exact same time, maybe a little bit later. And after that, I'm gonna get my double medivacs. After I get my add-ons, you get your starport whenever your factory is done, and you basically just keep macroing. Now, I started Marauder production now. Finally, I have 1 out already, but that's only after I started getting all my tech structures and stuff finished. So right now, let's see what I've seen of his base. I scanned because I'm guessing I didn't know what he had at all. But now that I see the robo, I'm saying, oh, he's probably just gonna go for a 3-gate robo with into Colossus. So he's probably just gonna be turtling for the most part. Now, because I scouted really late, I still don't know if he took a fast third or anything. There are some pretty greedy builds, and I'm hitting at 10 minutes. So if I mess this up, then I'm pretty much dead. But at this point, I'm fine. He's actually going blink first. That's a build you see. You see it sometimes, but not always. And this is one thing I don't like that a lot of Protoss players will do. They usually build the pylon on the edge because in their mind they're thinking, oh, maybe later on I'll probably use this to warp in units faster when I go attack. But no, in this case, because I'm doing a standard build, 3 racks spend, or 1 rack into 3 racks, I can snipe that pylon. He just lost money. So let's look at the resources lost. He's lost a Zealot, a pylon, and I have no idea what else. But as you can see, I'm trying to get up here as fast as possible to snipe stuff. Because right now, I'm just trying to catch him off guard. And this is kind of slappy right here. Leave my Marauder out. If he had been paying attention, he would have killed it. On the other hand, his army is split, so he's more vulnerable to lose this army up front if I decide to attack it. I shouldn't drop up here, because I see there's stalkers. I see a Twilight Council. I should assume, oh, hey, he's probably going either charge or blink. And if he goes blink, that's going to be stupid to drop. And right now, I'm using the factory just like for vision and such. Now I'm moving my units back. I'm probably not gonna drop up here. Actually, I won't drop up here because at this point, I'm keeping him contained on 3 bases. And if I started a third, oh no, I went 5 racks after. Okay, that's actually a common follow-up. You can either go into 5 racks after this opener for like more aggressive pressure if you think you can kill him, or you can go for a fast third. So, looking at upgrades, I do have the advantage. I already have my +1 armor. And notice my resources. My resources aren't that high, and like I'm ahead of him in supply. If he didn't lose that pylon, he wouldn't have been supply blocked. And I've been keeping up with my macro really well. So this is another thing that a lot of champion players need to be able to do. You need to be able to multitask pretty well and keep your macro up. You need to spend your money constantly. He's finally getting Colossus, but I'm in a pretty good position. I've been poking up front at him for a while. I know he does not have a third base over here, unless he took a hidden one, which is more than unlikely. I'm just going to retreat for right now because if he's going Twilight Cancel and it's 12 minutes in the game, then I could either I don't know why I scanned it. I should have scanned probably around here. Actually, let's see what he has. I haven't seen over here, so I've scanned this part a little bit too much. But at this point, I should be pulling back right now because I don't know if he has Storm or if he has Colossus. My scouting has been pretty poorly, so as you can see, this game scouting is very important. If you scout poorly, you're just going to have to do blind builds, basically. And you really don't want to do that, because in some cases, you can either lose to all-in, or you can just go kill the Protoss right out. And he has an observer right here, so I probably noticed it at the last minute, which is why I didn't go up here. Or it's probably because I just noticed all these stalkers. Now, even though I did lose my factory, I've already started a second starport and my army, so it doesn't really matter. That's one thing you have to be careful about. When you use your factory to scout up ahead, you have to make sure you build your army and another starport if you need. Like, since I don't know what he's doing, yeah, I still don't know what he's doing. I think that second starport is just for a precautionary method. I'm getting my third up, but it's 14 minutes in the game. I should have gone in a while back. I could have gone in a while back. I kept him contained. That's one of the strong points of this build. You can keep the Protoss player contained until he starts getting, like, Colossus out and Templars, things like that. And the good thing is, he didn't get any double forge upgrades, so right now I'm in a pretty good position. I have a better eco. My macro is slightly better than his. I kept him contained on 2 bases for a while, and I have 1-1 upgrades already, and he doesn't. The only thing I'm doing bad is I don't have a second. Okay, I do have a second engine, but okay. So I wasn't greedy enough, in my opinion. So you can see the flaws that I make. I'm not a freaking MMA or MVP type player. I'm still just a North American Grandmaster, a low one at that. So he still has the observer here. I scanned earlier, probably just to see if I can snipe it, but I didn't because it was out here. And I'm trying to go for a drop just to pressure him. But if I pay attention, yes, yeah. Did I notice that? Yeah, I must have noticed it. So I probably saw these stalkers and I'm like, oh, I better get back. So when you go for drops, make sure you pay attention to the drop when it gets anywhere near the vicinity of the Protoss place. Especially if you know they have observers and you didn't snipe the observers. Because in my case, I haven't killed the observer. So I've already started ghost production as well. And right now it's looking pretty good. He doesn't have really high upgrades. Even though he's going Colossus, I have double starport. So I'm countering his army right off the bat. I have 6 medivac still. Unless he feeds back, I'll be just fine, but then I can also hit EMPs off. I have my third up already. Worker count, I'm still ahead. So as you can see, basically just from this build alone, I pressured him into, like, basically, I guess, messing up on his macro, not taking his third fast, lowering his probe count. And then I didn't make the mistake of overcommitting. Slightly overcommit. I built 2 more barracks instead of expanding. But when I say overcommit, I mean that in the sense that I didn't push up his ramp and try to kill him or try to drop him and things like that. He had blink, he had force field, he had a mortal or 2, and he had like some zealots. So I realized that I could have lost that fight, even though I had such a big army. If he force fielded really well, used guardian shield, if he blinks properly, things like that. So it was better, in my opinion, just to walk away right now. I know that people say late game TvP is really difficult, but that's only if you're pretty much, like, if you let the Protoss get Templars and Colossus like this right now. But I scanned him. I know he doesn't have that much. I saw the Archons, I see the 2 Colossus, but right now I'm going in for attack. I have Ghosts and Vikings. I have like 8 Vikings. And if these storms hit, see, yeah, he doesn't even get any storms. He loses all of that energy. And then I have such a huge force, so it's +2, +1. He's 1-1, but still, I still have +1 weapons. At this point, it doesn't really matter what I do. He let his army get really heavily EMP'd, and as a Protoss player, to me it doesn't make sense why they don't like split it up ahead and all the time. I guess that's due to sloppy play sometimes. Let's go back real quick though. I want to see if his observer was watching me. So he has his observer here. He's actually has him in decent spots because usually you would see Protoss players keep the observers on top of the army. And I'm trying to check his vision. He sees my armies over here, so he should be aware that I'm about to attack. He also has stalkers over here, but he's blinking them down, so... This is the biggest mistake I've ever seen. Well, not ever seen, but this is a big mistake. He bunched up his entire army. See, at this point, his 5 Templars are worthless. His Colossus have been hit. His Archon, one of them has been hit. Most of his else have been hit. His Sentries... No, they're still fun. They have a lot of energy because they've been around. But even though he had vision with observers, he was really careless. If he had been if he had split his Templars or kept them like one over here, 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 like just split basically. I only had 3 ghosts. He could have probably feedbacked my ghosts, or he could have used beautiful storms to win. Now he's just gonna be walked over basically, and that's what happens in TvP. If you get, it goes both ways, honestly. You hit perfect EMPs on their Templars, then if you have Vikings take out their Colossus, you should pretty much be able to win, assuming you have a really good force size. Even if you both have a decent sized force, you just stutter step micro really well, basically. Let's see, I'm taking my 4th already, so I've been ahead of him the entire game just from this build. This is a really standard build. Now keep in mind, it is vulnerable, it actually is pretty vulnerable to a certain type of builds. The only 2 builds you really have to worry about when doing a 1 racks expand into 3 racks is pretty much just like a Blink Stalker all-in, or what was the other one? Oh, 3-gate Stargate. 3-gate Stargate you can still hold off of 3 racks, but you have to be very aware. Like you can't make any mistakes. So usually, if you think they're gonna 3-gate Stargate you, you'll go for a 4 racks build. 4 racks build should pretty much, like 99% of the time, barring mistakes, counter a 3-gate Stargate. It's the perfect build, and then at that point on, you should be able to kill the Protoss or just get so far ahead you pretty much win. In this case, from what you can see in this game, the point of this build is there's 2 things to this build. One, you can crush like greedy Protoss players to go for a fast 3rd Nexus. 2, you can punish them if they're very unaware, like they don't have vision. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he put the pylon there. I still don't think it was the best choice. You could easily use a Stalker to patrol around. But if he wasn't so aware, I would just drop here. I would drop over here in the back after going this route. The thing about Terran is the goal of the Terran against Protoss and Zerg, like one of the major strategies is like either you outright crush the Protoss or hit a timing attack that's really good against their build, like certain vulnerabilities, or you just like execute multi-prong harass that messes them up. Like in this case, let's pretend I took 4 Marauders, put them in a medivac, 8 Marines, put them in another one. My army would be significantly smaller, but at that point I can just like go around, drop here, go around, drop here. And the way I could do it is that I time it perfectly that this army it hits his army so where he knows that he needs to go engage. So even if I lose the fight, I can drop here, I can deal significant damage. Now, the only problem with that is that Protoss players usually float minerals, assuming that like you're not playing a really good Protoss players on top of spending, because I mean this is pretty much obvious. Protoss is very gas intensive. 100 gas for minerals. 100 gas for sentries, 150 gas per Templar, 300 for Colossus, 200, and then 100 for Immortals. So, and then also upgrades, charge, blink, extended thermal lance, and yeah. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about when I was pressuring him earlier. I'm just gonna try to find the part where I try to go up his ramp. Let's speed it up a bit. So yeah, when you do this build also, and and you catch the Protoss player off guard, because also notice the timing. It's not even 10 minutes, and I have, well, my other medivac was supply block. I forgot that. I watched the replay earlier and I saw that. But you see the timing. I'm hitting 10 minutes. That's pretty darn good for a one rack expand, because I cut corners. I built my bunker late. I didn't send my SCV out to scout until very later on. That's some of the advantages. Now, right here, I could have possibly done that better. What would have happened if I picked up some of my units, like 4 or 5, and not all of them? If I put all of them, then he would probably, assuming he had some stalkers here, which he doesn't, I don't know that, he could be able to take out like maybe one medevac or take out the units, because obviously when you drop units, you drop them one at a time, so that one unit can take majority of the focus fire from the units automatically. So you'll lose units a lot faster compared to having like 20 out right now. And in this case, I probably shouldn't have just stimmed and tried running up. I probably should have just like picked up a couple of units, like I said, drop over here while pulling in the front, and then while these units are dropped, I can come back with one medevac and pick up the rest, and use the other medevac to heal, or maybe to micro and pick up like units that are about to die. So right then and there, I probably could have killed him if I did that properly, because all the stalkers are up here. He only has 3 sentries and 1 mortal. If he didn't have these, if he had these stalkers down here, that'd be a different scenario. He does have sentries with Guardian Shield, or he could use that, but he does have Blink coming up, and I didn't know about that. I really don't know what he was doing. When I saw the mortal, I probably assumed, oh, he's going for Colossus. And as you can see, I've already started both my other barracks, so that's one of the bigger flaws in the build, because I started them too soon instead of getting the fast third, but it doesn't matter at this point. Yeah, so that pretty much covers this entire game. Probably will do another one of these, maybe the same type of build on a different map or something, just to show you like the difference of how I would play when there's no ramp like this. Like maybe, let me think of one. Well, Metalopolis, but I have that thumbs down, or it's another map. Tal'Darim, there's no ramp. So, oh, there is a ramp, but it's still vulnerable. Cloud Kingdom, that's the one I'm thinking of, because on Cloud Kingdom you can go up the ramp one way, but they can also go around the back. So you slightly want to play differently if they're a good player, to be honest. But anyways, this concludes this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm also going to be making another TvZ video pretty shortly, and also a TvT. Actually, I have 2 TvT videos in the works. So keep on watching, and please like and subscribe. If you guys have any comments, or if you have any questions, like maybe you want to see me execute another build, then feel free to send me a message in my inbox. Thanks for watching, dudes.